Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Anim Klesha. So in last video we saw that how he was chased out of the house by his own brothers and sisters, and also how he died while saving the three youngsters which were quarreling over some topic and squished by the truck. So in this chapter we are going to start chapter 1 of the Jobless Reincarnation volume number 1. Could this be the another world? Part 1. When I woke up, the first thing I felt was my eyes being dazzled. Light filled my vision and I narrowed my eyes in discomfort. Once my eyes adjusted to the brightness, I found a young blonde woman gazing at me. A beautiful girl. No, a beautiful woman would be more appropriate. Who is it? Beside her was a man with a brown hair with a similar young age, giving me a stiff smile. An arrogant, strong looking man. His muscles were amazing. Brown hair, arrogant type. Looking at his DQ and appearance, I should have been repulsed. Strangely enough though, I did not feel he was unpleasant. His hairs were pretty brown color, probably because it wasn't dyed, I guess. XXXXXX. Woman cracked a smile as she watched me and said something. What is she saying? Feeling fuzzy, I could not hear clearly, and I didn't understand it at all. Could it be that it's not Japanese? XXXXXX. The man replied with a gentle expression. Really? What did he just say? I couldn't understand it at all. XXXXXX. The third person's voice came from somewhere. I couldn't see them. I tried to sit up and ask them, where is this place and who are you guys? Even if I was a hikikomori, I still wasn't a complete failure at communication. I could still do something like this. Ha, ha. I couldn't tell if what came out from my lips was a groan or a heavy breathing. My body couldn't move. I felt sensation in my fingers and wrist, but I couldn't move my upper body. XXX, XXXXX. In the end, the man carried me up. This is a joke, right? My body weighs over 100 kilograms and he lifted me up so easy. No. Maybe if I had been in a coma for a dozen of days and it had caused my body weight to go down. It had been such a huge incident. There was really a large possibility I had lost an arm or a leg. A fate worse than that, huh? On that day, those were my thoughts. A month passed by. It looked like I reincarnated. I finally realized that fact. I had become a baby. I had confirmed it when I was carried up with my head supported and my own body appeared in my sides. Didn't know why I still retained my past memories, but there was nothing bad about retaining them. Retaining memories upon reincarnation. Anyone will have entertained such delusions at least once. But I didn't think that such a delusions would become reality. The first couple I had seen when I opened my eyes seemed to be my parents. They probably were in the early half of their 20s. Clearly, they were younger than my past self. From the perspective of a 34-year-old, it was alright to call them young. It really made me envious that they even had a children at that age. I already noticed it from first, but I didn't seem to be in Japan. The language was different, my parents' faces didn't appear to be Japanese, and the clothes even seemed to be that of a native village. I couldn't see anything resembling the electronic devices. The person who wore the maid apron was cleaning with a cloth, and the utensil, bowls, and furnitures were coarsely made from wood. It was probably not an advanced developed country. The light was not provided by the light bulbs, but with candles and lamps. Of course, there was a large possibility of them being very poor and unable to afford the electricity bills. Maybe that possibility was very high. I thought they surely had some money, as there was someone dressed like a maid, but it wouldn't be strange if it was a sister of one of my parents. It would be a normal thing for her to be cleaning. I certainly wanted to start afresh, but living in a family that could not even afford the bills made me very restless. Half a year passed by. Listening to my parents' conversations during this last half year, I had started to understand things bit by bit. My English grades couldn't have been considered good, but it seems true that learning it can be quite slow thing when heavily influenced by a native language. Or could it be that my this body's mind was pretty good? Maybe it was because of my young age, but I could quickly remember things. By this time, I was able to crawl. Being able to move is a wonderful thing. I had never felt such gratefulness for being able to move. He'll run somewhere else when I move away my eyes from him. Isn't it a good thing he's active? I was so worried when he didn't cry at all when he was born. He doesn't cry now anyway. My parents had this discussion when they saw me crawling everywhere. I was not at an age when I'd cry loudly when hungry after all. But even if I tried to hold it in, the stuff that comes out from below would still leak out. So I just left things as they were. Even though I could only crawl, once I did so, I understand a lot of things. First of all, this family was relatively well off. The building was a two-story wooden house and there were over a five room. They had one hired maid. At first, I thought that the maid was my aunt or something, but her respectful attitude towards my parents made it seem she wasn't a family. The place was a village. From the scenery that I could see from the windows, it was a tranquil landscape of farming plots. The other houses were scattered around, and on one side of the wheat field, I could see two or three families. It was quite a rural place. I could not see any electric wires, lamps, or anything similar. Perhaps there wasn't any generator nearby? I had heard that foreign countries places their wires underground, but if that was the case, it was strange that my house did not have electricity. It was too rural. It was painful for me who had been jolted by the wave of civilization. Even if it's a reincarnation, I still wanted to have a personal computer. That way of thinking ended on a certain afternoon. With nothing to do, I climbed up onto the chair as usual, intending to admire the field scenery. When I looked out from the window, I was shocked. Father was waving around a sword in the courtyard. What? Huh? What is he doing? My dad is still waving that thing at this age? Johnny boy. Ha crap. Due to the shock, I fell down from the chair. My undeveloped hands grabbed the chair, but they were unable to support my body and the heavier back of my head hit the ground first. Yeah! I heard the scream as I hit the ground. My mom spotted me and dropped the washed laundry, her hands over her mouth, looking over me with a deadly pale face. Rudy, are you okay? My mother rushed over to me in a panic and carried me up. She looked me in the eyes and placed her hand on her chest, looking relieved. Phew, you seem fine. Madam, it's not better to move someone after their head had received a blow. I reminded her in my heart. From her anxious attitude, it seemed that I had fallen in quite a dangerous manner. It seemed possible that I might become an idiot due to the knock on my head. Not that that would be any different. There was a throbbing pain on the back of my head. At least grabbing the chair with my hands had lowered my velocity. As my mother's reactions didn't seem panickingly, I assumed that there wasn't any blood. It was probably just a swelling. Mother took a careful look over at my head. Her expression seemed to say, if there's any injury, it will be serious. Finally, she placed her hand on my head. To be safe, let the power of God be converted into the bountiful crops and bestowed upon those who have lost the strength to stand once more. Healing. I nearly burst out. Hey, is this country's pain, go away quick? Or was it that, along with my sword-wielding father, my mother is also a Chuni boy? A warrior and a cleric yielding. Just when I was thinking that, my mother's hand emitted a dim light and in an instant, my pain disappeared. He? See, it's okay now. After all, your mom is a renowned adventurer, my mother said in a boastful manner. I was instantly plunged into confusion. Sword, warrior, adventurer, healing, chanting, cleric. All these terms echoed in my head. What was that just now? What did she just do? What's wrong? My father looked in the window from outside when he heard my mother's scream. His whole body was sweaty as he was just being swinging his sword. Listen to me, dear. Rudy actually climbed on top of the chair and nearly got gravely injured. Well, it's not good if a boy isn't active. A slightly worried mother and a father who didn't treat like a big deal and placated her. This was a commonly seen event. But my mother didn't back off, perhaps because of the back of my head hitting the ground first. Just a moment, dear. This child isn't even a year old. Would you worry a little more? Despite that, the child is meant to grow up falling down to become sturdy. This way, he will become more healthy. Besides, even if he is injured, can't you just treat him? But I'm really worried. I keep thinking of him getting injured heavily and me being unable to treat him. He'll be fine. My dad said that and embraced her tightly. My mom's face turned red. I was worried when he didn't cry at all in the beginning. But if he is so naughty, he will surely be fine. My dad kissed my mom. Hey, you are just showing this to me on purpose, right? Both of you. Later on, the two of them put me in the next room to sleep, moved on to the next floor, and started into the task of making me siblings. Even if the two of you were to go to the second floor, I can still hear the nya noises. Damn successful offline people. But magic, huh? Later on, I started paying attention to the conversation between my parents and the maid. And then I heard a lot of terms not in my vocabulary, especially the country's names, district names, and the various location names. Some proper nouns I had never heard before. Maybe this place is. No, I was certain of it. This wasn't Earth, but some other world. A different world that has sword and magic in it. At this moment, I had a flash of inspiration. If it's this world, perhaps even I can achieve it. If it's a world of sword and magic, a world deviated from my previous life and what I know as a common sense, perhaps I can do it. To live like a normal person, to work hard like a normal person, to be able to climb back up if I fell down, to live my life fully. I had been full of regret when I died in my previous life, dying full of burning restlessness over my impotence and the fact that I had accomplished nothing. But the me who experienced all that, having retained the knowledge and experiences of my life, perhaps I could really do it, to live on seriously. So that's it for this chapter. Hope you guys liked it. Like, comments, share, whatever. And see you in the next video. Peace out. Stay safe.